The Anvil Splitter. What many people consider to be garbage is actually insane when you understand how this attachment works, how to use it, and when it's in the right hands. While yes, it has its drawbacks, it heavily reduces your range, accuracy, and you lose strong armor penetration against arc. However, if you look at its headshot damage, effectiveness against shields, and pre-fight advantage, you'll begin to see why it's so good. Now, before we start, I need to say that it's almost entirely only useful for PvP, so for all you PvE exclusive players, sorry, but in almost all cases, don't use the splitter over the normal anvil. Before we get into why the splitter is good, we need a quick lesson on how shields work in Arc Raiders. If you already understand everything on how shields work, you can just skip this part. Okay, so the main thing people know is that shields are not extra health. Instead, it's damage reduction. So for example, a full health person with a light shield gets hit in the chest with a Pharaoh, which does 40 damage. The light shield breaks since it only has 40 shield charge, aka health. However, it gives 40% reduced damage, so you only take 24 damage and are left with 76 health. But if you're hit again, you will take that full 40 damage since you have no shield left. However, what some might not know is that shields don't take headshot damage, so if you have a medium shield which has 70 charge and gives 42.5% damage reduction, and you get hit in the head by a Pharaoh, the shield will still only take 40 damage, but you still receive that headshot damage, albeit reduced. So you take 57.5 damage and are left with 42.5 health and 30 shield charge. Essentially, shields can't take critical damage, but you do. Furthermore, people also might not know that no matter how much shield charge is left, it will still give you the same amount of damage reduction for one more shot, even if you have less shield charge than the amount of damage you are taking. So even if you have basically one shield charge left on a light shield, and you get shot by a Pharaoh, you still take the same amount of damage as if you had a full shield. In both cases, you have no more shield charge and have 76 health left. So, with that out of the way, let's see what the Anvil Splitter exactly does. Currently, the Anvil Splitter is a weapon mod that only goes on the anvil, giving you 3 more projectiles at the cost of 70% reduced projectile damage. So instead of 1 projectile doing 40 damage, you now have 4 projectiles, each doing 12 damage, for 48 total base damage. Since it shoots 4 close-range projectiles, I recommend using it with an extended barrel for a little better range, and of course use a level 4 anvil. Now we look at the headshot damage. The anvil currently has a 2.5 times headshot multiplier, meaning the base anvil does 100 damage to the head. However, the Anvil Splitter does 120 damage to the head, split across the 4 projectiles. So, let's put all of this into a possible real game scenario. Imagine you see a raider with a light shield and they have 90 health and 10 shield charge. If you headshot them with a normal anvil, their shield will be depleted and you'll only do 60 damage because the shield reduced it. This is the same as if they had full shield. Now, if it were an Anvil Splitter, one of the 4 projectiles gets its damage reduced because of the shield, but it allows the other 3 to get full headshot damage since one of the other projectiles already absorbed the shield's damage reduction, meaning in this case, it's an instant knock. So the splitter benefits if your opponent has been slightly damaged. It basically gives you an even better edge in a fight than normal if your enemy is at even a slight disadvantage in health. If you use this fact and you get the first shot in, you third party a fight, you play off your team, or you just use a longer ranged weapon before engaging, that initial damage, even if it's small, completely turns a fight around in your favor because, as discussed, the splitter shreds through shields when they don't have that full shield charge to tank the 4 hits. Also, because the 4 projectiles, it's harder to completely miss your shot. Getting some damage in is better than none at all. This helps you get that initial fight poke damage we talked about. If you are about to engage in a fight and you just shoot them, you might not get a lot of damage, but there's almost no way you won't get some, which, like I said, that start damage will help you immensely with the splitter. If that wasn't enough, don't forget the Anvil has the best peek shot in the game since you shoot it with one hand when hip firing. so you can get crazy peaks and damage in without exposing or getting hit yourself, which once again feeds into that initial poke damage we talked about. Additionally, some might not know it has a surprisingly effective range, especially with an extended barrel. Not normal anvil level, but more than you'd expect. Don't be afraid to use it at a medium range. I would say if you're stationary and crouching, you could confidently use it to get good damage at a maximum of 45 meters. Anything farther and you will notice a damage drop off and inaccuracy. And to top it all off, even if you can't manage to perform any of these to gain that advantage, it still has a very fast time to kill. It can knock anyone with just 2 headshots, and in some cases only a headshot and body shot. Now, here's the problem. I can tell you how to understand and use it to make it better in your hands. However, a solid amount of the time, it relies on headshots and good game sense. And mind you, most of the time it's in close range, fast moving environments. If you are not mechanically or strategically that good of a player, the splitter will not be good. I'm down. Anvil Splitter is very hard to use, which is why most people think it's bad. But if you use it in the ways I told you, and you are a good player, you will destroy everyone without a doubt. It is high risk, high reward. If you miss your shots or just play poorly overall, you will be punished. It has some of the most, if not the highest potential in the game. So, to sum everything up, the Anvil Splitter shreds through shields. It benefits immensely from headshots and pre-fight damage, it has good poke damage and the best peek shot in the game, and it has a crazy time to kill and it greatly rewards skilled players. With all that said though, thank you so much for watching and making it all the way to the end. If you just want to give some input, if I missed something, or if I'm wrong, please leave a comment. I'm not an expert and this is just for my testing. However, I hope this video helped you realize how strong the Anvil Splitter can be. See you topside, Raider.